There we are. Welcome into First Alert Weather Extra, everyone. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan, filling in for Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt this evening. Thank you for joining us on our all-weather streaming show that you can get exclusively on our streaming platforms with WBRC Fox 6 News. And we love the show because it's all weather all the time. And unfortunately, something you may not love, well, obviously the heat and humidity. Kind of been a little crummy today, but we also have a severe thunderstorm watch in place across northeast Alabama. Let's get a live look right now at First Alert AccuTrack. You'll notice across the state where you see that pink highlighted, that is where a severe thunderstorm watch is going to be in place until 9 o'clock tonight. So most of our area, honestly, looking pretty good, fairly dry. It looks like a couple of little stray showers are trying to work their way towards I-2059. But we'll zoom in right now where we are seeing these thunderstorms that are moving through, and some of these storms were earlier severe warned. The good news is it looks like, well, not good news if you're over in Georgia. Sorry to my family if they're watching. We've had some severe thunderstorms moving through the Atlanta and Athens area in Georgia, now moving towards I-20 in central Georgia, getting closer to Augusta, and it looks like that severe thunderstorm watch has actually been extended across Georgia as well as Charleston, South Carolina too. But for us here in central Alabama, we are seeing some improvements. We're still seeing a little bit of thunderstorm activity up in Cherokee County. You can see this one intense thunderstorm between Bluffton and Borden Springs that is right along Highway 278. The worst of that is now pushing southeast into Georgia. But check out this thunderstorm that is in the Huntsville area. A lot of lightning on this, over 100 lightning strikes, almost 120 lightning strikes. The possibility of some small hail with this and some intense lightning, heavy downpours. So we'll be keeping an eye on these. But I think generally our main threat for seeing storms is actually going to end up being for tomorrow. So that's when we have a first alert for some storms back in the forecast, Friday and Saturday. Let's get an idea of what we could be dealing with for tomorrow. So it looks like on Friday there's a level 2 out of 5 risk for seeing some strong to severe storms. You can see the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted a good portion of north and central Alabama in that yellow category, that level 2 out of 5 risk. I think the main thing we could be seeing as these storms come in tomorrow. This is all ahead of our next big thing, by the way, a front that's going to be coming through and switching things up for us a little bit. So we've got some damaging wind gusts and also some small hail possible. But of course, as we see in the summer months, heavy downpours and some cloud to ground lightning. If you think about just how hot and muggy it was outside today, that's an atmosphere that is ripe for storms coming in and strengthening as they come in. Because what are storms like? They like moisture and they like heat. So we'll have plenty of that for tomorrow. That provides a lot of energy for these storms. Well, to get an idea, if we zoom in here on Saturday, kind of what we're expecting with our futurecast here over the next 36 hours. Now, mind you, this model didn't do a great job of depicting the storms that we've seen already come through northeast Alabama today. We're just kind of going to ignore what it says for the rest of the day and go into tomorrow. Gives us a better idea. We could see a couple of isolated showers in the morning, but I think our main chance to see showers and storms tomorrow is going to be during the afternoon and evening hours. Ahead of this front coming through, storms will likely come in from the north and push to the south. It's as this batch comes in tomorrow afternoon that we're going to watch for the potential for some strong wind gusts, some hail producers along the line, and some intense cloud to ground lightning. I know we've been preaching this all summer, and you're like, you got to stop telling us this. We get it by now. But I'm going to tell you anyway, when thunder roars, go indoors, because if there is thunder, that means lightning is nearby. So these storms will just push to the south and east tomorrow. You may see a little lull in the activity before another round could come in Friday overnight into Saturday morning. Now, what I want you to note is that as these are coming through into early Saturday morning, when you wake up on Saturday, a lot of the activity could already be south of I-20. So the best chance to see strong storms on Saturday is actually going to be across the southern half of the state, where you could see some severe thunderstorm warnings in place. But I really think Saturday will end up being pretty dry for most of us once we get past the morning. Now, there could be some lingering clouds. It's still going to be muggy to start. But the best part about this forecast is Sunday. I know we get the Sunday scary sometimes, but I'm not too scared about that forecast. Got some sunshine, waking up in the 60s on Sunday and Monday morning. I ain't mad at it. The thing about this front is it's not necessarily going to make us cooler. I mean, we'll take 60s, but it's not much, but it is going to put a dent in the humidity levels. So as we go into next week, it's not going to be as muggy, but it's going to be more of a dry heat. right? So we talk about the humidity being so problematic in terms of that humidity just makes it feel that much hotter outside. So it's still going to be hot next week, but with the dry heat in place, temperatures, those air temperatures can actually climb a little bit more. We're talking low mid 90s, looking fairly dry. So we just really have to get past Friday and Saturday and get through these storms before we see a little break from the humidity. Now, will it stay that way? Probably not. We know how summer works here in Alabama. But coming up next on First Alert Weather Extra, we've got a lot going on in terms of not just us here in Alabama, but just up the road in the Carolinas. Some severe weather has been coming through that produced tornadoes across parts of the U.S., dealing with extreme heat. And in addition to that extreme heat, some flooding up towards the Ohio River Valley and Kentucky, and then wildfires still raging across Greece. We'll be right back.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome into Good Day, Alabama.
A new morning comes with preparing right, because while you slept, news broke.
We have new information from that breaking news that happened this morning.
While you head out, the storm we gave you the first alert for is on its way in. And as the key turns the ignition, your shorter route to work is being found.
Avoid 459 southbound completely because of a crash.
A new morning means everything you need for a good day is on Good Day Alabama, always on your side.
The First Alert traffic you need to get you there safe and on time. Tomorrow morning, everything you need for a good day is on Good Day Alabama.
You're late, out the door, and on the go. Don't worry.
Good Day, Alabama continues all morning long.
And wherever you watch, this is what you need to know right now.
More reporters on the streets with more hours of news when you need it. Everything you need for a good day is on Good Day Alabama. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
Well, an update this evening, breaking news out of North Carolina where severe weather wreaked havoc yesterday. We have new info about a tornado that moved through the state, which you can see was caught here on camera. A debris wall from this massive twister cutting a path over several miles. This new video shows that wicked storm that tore the roofs off buildings, including the Pfizer building in Rocky Mount. It also took down trees and damaged homes. Meteorologists at the National Weather Service say this was an EF3 tornado, but the impact could have much wider consequences because of the damage to the Pfizer manufacturing plant. It's one of the largest facilities manufacturing sterile injectable drugs in the world. Doctors now concerned that could have significant consequences in hospitals across the country.
I'm really afraid that some patients will get suboptimal care and there may be an increase in lives lost.
Physicians and supply chain experts also worry this could make the ongoing drug shortages worse. Well, when the summer sun is bearing down on you, as many of us felt today, your skin can get red, especially if you have rosacea. But people aren't the only ones worried about burns. Nevada apple growers say triple-digit temperatures are giving the fruit a sunburn, making it brown and mushy. That looks like Tania's apple that was in the Weather Center earlier. It won't ruin the entire crop because they can prune the trees to create more shade for many of the apples, but it will lower the yield. Growers also say they're having trouble keeping cucumbers alive. Right now, they're planting new ones that should be ready in the fall. Tania?
Well, Lauren, health experts say these extremely hot temperatures we're experiencing could cause more severe migraines. Changes in barometric pressure, extremely high temperatures, and the threat of dehydration can have significant impacts on those with chronic migraines. Doctors say if you get migraines less frequently, manage them by knowing your triggers, staying hydrated, that's drinking lots of water, and turn to rescue medicine if you need it. But don't take those medications too many times throughout the week.
We usually recommend no more than 2 to 3 times, just because for those patients who have migraines, they run the risk of developing what we call rebound headaches if they use abortive medications too often.
And if you're struggling with heat-related migraines, the doctor says to seek care. Well, this summer, heat is no joke, and you already know we've been experiencing it here. And in Tuscaloosa County, workers got an early start to beat the heat. Early, like 5 a.m., folks like Johnny Archibald are responsible for maintaining the grounds around the county courthouse and other county property. County maintenance employees have also been advised to take frequent breaks when it gets this hot.
Cutting grass, edging and weed eating around 5 or 5:30 in the morning while it's the cooler hours, and normally we're done before the heat of the day around lunchtime.
We already have a work order for it, and we know that we're going to be on the roof replacing a compressor. Let's go ahead and knock that out as early as possible, or later in the afternoon after hours. Sometimes we come in on the weekends. There's just times that we try to beat the heat.
Archibald has some good advice. He drinks a lot of water the night before he goes into work to help him get a head start on hydration. I need to take that advice. Oh my goodness. Well, in Las Vegas, at least one passenger aboard a Delta flight bound for Atlanta was treated for heat-related discomfort on Monday. According to the National Weather Service, temperatures at Harry Reid International Airport exceeded 100 degrees with a high of 115. Regina Ahn spoke to a passenger who said they were stuck inside the plane for over 4 hours.
It was just like chaos at this point. There was a woman walking up the aisle. She looked like she was about to just pass out. They ended up putting an oxygen mask on her.
A Delta plane stuck for hours on the tarmac at Harry Reid Airport. Passengers were stuck inside the plane for over 4 hours. The temperature 111 degrees.
There's ambulances outside the window. There's, multiple firemen. There was fire department came on. A bunch of them went to the back. The sanitary crew came to the back. People had thrown up. People had fainted, gone to the bathroom.
Krista Garvin was on the flight headed to Atlanta. She says her flight was scheduled to leave at 1:40. After 2 hours, people around started to get sick from the heat, including flight attendants.
I extremely apologize. I've been on here as long as you guys have been on here. I don't feel my best at this point either. Everybody on the crew is on the same page as everybody on here.
It's just traumatizing at this point. There's people running around everywhere. They come over the loudspeaker and they say you can choose to get off the plane or you can stay on. And if you get off, just know you may not get a flight out for a couple days.
After 4 hours, everyone was asked to leave the plane. Garvin says those who passed out were taken out on a stretcher. Garvin adds she was told to come back the next day for a flight out at 7 a.m., and that was canceled as well. In a statement, Harry Reid Airport said medical teams did respond to a call aboard an aircraft. And Delta, in a statement, said they apologize and said they're looking into the circumstances that led to uncomfortable temperatures inside the cabin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know about that. This is a hot mess. In a statement, Delta said the passengers received a compensatory offer and were accommodated, oh my goodness, on other flights. Lauren?
Thanks, Tania. Well, the community of Mayfield, Kentucky is in recovery mode after historic flooding. It's particularly difficult considering how hard the community worked to come back from a deadly tornado in 2021. Ariana Allen reports.
It's traumatizing.
Mayfield is a city all too familiar with destruction.
December 10th was the tornado. And it blew my job completely apart. And I've not been able to get back to that job ever since. And it's been really devastating.
Kaya Carter has 3 kids who go to Mayfield Elementary. She was shocked to see the flooding at their school and the neighborhood around it.
I mean, They've probably lost houses, furniture. I know somewhere around town they actually had to close down because they had water in their business.
Mayor Kathy Onan is shocked too, and
this is disappointing for us. This is disappointing. We thought we'd had our share of disasters.
Despite that disappointment, Onan is proud of her city's resilience yet again.
And I saw this afternoon, the police chief gave me a tour of town, and I saw what I fully expected to see. Neighbor helping neighbor begin to empty out the damaged things in their homes.
Carter saw that too. She shares this message for her home.
Mayfield, stay strong. We've gotten through the tornado. We're going to get through the flood, and just keep on, keep God first.
And a local recovery group is taking donations to help the community recover. Well, coming up next on First Alert Weather Extra, we take a look at weather around the world and how weather could be impacting your Christmases several years from now. We'll be right back.
We heard the first alert. Mom says we have to go. She says I don't have time to grab any more toys.
Need to be in your tornado safe place. Get there right now as you have.
We have to get to our safe place because sometimes when you hear the siren, it's too late. That's why she says knowing first is everything.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team always on your side.
The first alert is more than a warning. It's a promise. A promise to get you out of harm's way with plenty of time to spare. 4 walls and a roof can be replaced. Lives can't. That's why knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. We often talk about severe weather here in the U.S., but severe storms can happen in places like Europe too, like in Bosnia and Herzegovina. In Bosnia and Herzegovina this week, severe storms produced torrential rainfall and damaging winds that ripped off roofs of buildings, downed trees, and caused fires and power outages from lightning strikes. One woman died and over 20 people requested medical help on the storms Wednesday night. Well, the Greek Fire Service continues to battle wildfires that broke out earlier this week in the Attica region, the Peloponnese, and the island of Rhodes. The fire service said the situation has improved, but rekindling risk remains. Meanwhile, Greece has limited visiting hours at the Acropolis and other archaeological sites due to the summer heat. The measure comes as Greece's meteorological service warns that temperatures are expected to reach 111 degrees Fahrenheit over the weekend in some parts of the country. At the Acropolis alone, 20 visitors fainted due to the heat. Meanwhile, back in the Caribbean, Puerto Rico has been blanketed in Saharan dust. The National Weather Service in San Juan has reported that the dust will stick around for the next few days, creating hazy skies across the island. While much of eastern Iowa, back here in the U.S., is under a severe drought, and that lack of rain is having an impact on crops being grown this year. But for the Christmas tree crop, its damage will be seen several years down the road. Brian Tabik spoke to 2 farmers who are worrying about Christmas in, you guessed it, July.
At the Cedars Edge Evergreen Market, it's never too early to start talking about Christmas.
It's pretty neat to see
these trees we put in that were, a foot or 16 inches have actually grown to, some of them grown up to 9 foot already.
Owner Mark Banowitz first opened 7 years ago. This is the first year he's able to start selling these trees he planted himself.
7 years has flown.
He says those trees are doing well despite the state being several inches short of rain. It's the 500 seedlings he planted this year he's worried about.
The seedlings we're losing a lot of those.
Iowa Christmas Tree Association President Bob Molds, the owner of Wapsie Pines Tree Farm, says Banowitz isn't alone. He says many new farmers are also struggling, and there isn't insurance for crops like these.
If they all die, they all die. There's no insurance.
Molds started changing his ways after the 2013 drought. He's watering each of the 4,000 trees he planted this year, as well as mulching each and every one of them.
If we had not mulched all these trees and individually watered them 3 times while it was dry, a large percent of them would not have made it.
As the association's new president, Molds says he wants to show other new tree farmers like Banowitz what he's learned over the years, so they too can make it through droughts like the one we're seeing right now.
Now, once they put them in the ground, there isn't a whole lot we can do as far as making them grow.
And Molds says when farmers have bad drought years in the past, they could usually plant twice the number of trees the following year to make up for the ones they lost. Like he said, that can also be a risk if there is another drought the next year. Well, here in central Alabama, we are in the thick of summer, but I promise fall is kind of around the corner, like a little ways that way. Let's check in with meteorologist Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson for a countdown to the next season.
Mickey, it has been super hot, and I don't know about you, but I'm kind of ready for fall.
Are you?
Just for a little bit of cooler air.
Maybe you just need to go swimming or something.
Yeah, it's not cool enough.
You're ready for football, aren't you?
I'm ready for football.
That's what I knew.
Yeah.
You only got 2 national championships back to back. Georgia graduate.
Anyways, let's talk about the countdown to fall, shall we?
Yeah, it sounds like I'm going to the music, The Final Countdown. Remember that one?
Yeah, that's a good song right there.
Okay, college football 41 days away, Matt Daniel.
45 days away is Labor Day.
Think you're
Mickey Ferguson.
Going to have a three-peat?
We're not going to go there. We're talking about the countdown to fall.
All right. First day of fall, 64 days. Some call it the autumnal equinox.
Yes, and of course September can still end up pretty hot, but hey, it's September and it's technically meteorological fall. So, as we get closer to fall, that means our daylight starts to shrink a bit. So to this evening, of course, the sun sets at 7:55. It's now before 8 o'clock. Look at August 1st, 7:47, 7:12 by September 1st.
That's some short periods of daylight here in the northern hemisphere. Sure is. Till we get to the winter solstice.
Yeah, and there's your sunrise times tomorrow morning, 5:52, then almost 6 o'clock by August 1st, and then 6:21 by September 1st. So we're losing maybe about a minute or so of daylight each and every day. So here we go with your average rainfall in July. Let's talk about the rain. And we've had a good bit of rain for the first half of the month, especially for Tuscaloosa. Look how much rain you've picked up, 6.5 inches, and normally you'll pick up about 4 1/4. So that's a lot of rain right there.
It's a dadgum gully washer in Tuscaloosa.
That's right, but we could use a little bit of rain in Birmingham, and of course we have some opportunities down the road. Now, haven't really picked up a lot of rain over the past couple of days. We've had most of that rain in western portions of the state. Notice over 1 inch of rain in parts of Walker County. Been pretty dry though in Springville towards the Gadsden area.
It's purged.
Talladega's been pretty dry, maybe about 1/4 inch of rain in around the Birmingham area and into Shelby County. But we could use some rain not only to help alleviate some of those dry spots, but also just to cool us down. So
if only we had a drought monitor. Oh, there it is. So the drought monitor shows the driest air up through Marion and northern Winston counties, but the rest of us not doing too bad with rainfall.
Yeah, not bad at all. And of course, as we look at the Weather Prediction Center, the next 7 days, most of this rain's going to fall pretty much between now and Saturday. Maybe if we're lucky, 1 inch, 1 1/4 in some spots. A little bit drier though. It's showing as you go farther to the south and west towards Sumter Green in Hale County.
Might even be some storms tomorrow.
Yeah, so the rain, of course, a good thing to help us out, the flowers in the garden, but we just don't want any of those storms to be severe.
You're still waiting on fall football?
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know.
So, but there you go.
Kind of hurts for the rest of us.
Thanks, Matt and Mickey. Well, you can join us back here tonight. We're actually going to be going on a little late because of the Women's World Cup. So Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt will have an update on your forecasts eventually sometime tonight. I may not be here, but Wes will be here. And you can join us here on Weather Extra every weeknight at 6:30 on your favorite streaming platform. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Have a safe and happy Thursday evening.